All right, let's talk about it. That first big hurdle in tech, writing your very first line of code. It sounds scarier than it is, I promise. Today, we're going to demystify the whole thing and get you started with Python, which is honestly one of the best and most beginner-friendly languages out there. So, let's dive in.
For a lot of us, the whole idea of coding just seems, well, hard, right? You hear about all this complicated syntax, these frustrating setups, and it's so easy to just feel completely overwhelmed before you even start. It's a super common fear. But what if I told you there's a language out there that was literally designed to skip all that drama?
And that language is Python. Seriously, it was built from the ground up to be easy for actual humans to read, write, and just get. The syntax is clean, it's simple, and honestly, it feels a lot like you're just reading plain English. That's what makes it the perfect gateway into the entire world of programming.
So, to really get why Python is so special, we got to talk about something called high-level languages. Think of it like this. A low-level language is like trying to talk to a computer in its native language. Ones and zeros, super complicated stuff. But a high-level language, like Python, that's way closer to how we talk. It lets you focus on your big ideas, on the logic of what you're trying to build, instead of getting bogged down in all the nitty-gritty hardware details.
Okay, so if we're going to put a formal definition on it, here's the deal. Python is a high-level programming language that's famous for its super elegant and readable syntax. And look, this isn't just some nice-to-have feature. It's the whole reason why it's so perfect for beginners and also why pros love it for getting things built fast.
Okay, so it's easy to read, but why else should you start with Python? What really makes it such a knockout choice for your first language? Let's break down some of the biggest reasons.
Python is, no joke, the Swiss Army knife of coding. For starters, it's super beginner-friendly, which means you'll actually build confidence instead of just getting frustrated. But it's not just a learning tool. It's in crazy high demand for huge fields like AI, data science, and web development. It's also incredibly versatile. You can use it for anything from building websites to automating boring tasks to analyzing data, you name it. And maybe the best part? It has this massive community and a huge collection of pre-written code, which means you're almost never starting from scratch. There's always someone to help or a tool to use.
All right, that's enough theory for now. Let's get our hands dirty and actually set up the tools you're going to need. This is it, the first real practical step to becoming a coder.
First things first, you're going to head over to python.org and download the installer for your computer. The whole process is pretty simple, but listen up. There is one absolutely 100% crucial step, especially if you're on Windows. You have to check the box that says Add Python to Path. Please don't skip this. This one little click tells your computer where to find Python and will save you from a world of headaches down the line. Trust me on this one. And look, I'm not just being dramatic. This is a real quote from a user on the official forums who learned the hard way. It is, by far, one of the most common mistakes beginners make. And now you know exactly how to dodge it.
Okay, next up, you need a place to actually write your code. We're going to use Visual Studio Code. It's free, it's powerful, and tons of developers use it. Once you've got it installed, just open up the Extensions tab on the side, search for the official Python extension, make sure it's the one from Microsoft, and click Install. That's it. This basically turns VS Code into a supercharged Python editor.
And here we are. The moment of truth. The tools are ready. Your environment is all set up. It is time to write your very first program.
And this is it. That's the entire program. Seriously. Just one simple command, print, with some text inside quotes. It's readable, it's clean, and it's the classic first step that basically every programmer on Earth has taken.
So that print command, that's what we call a function. Think of it as a built-in tool that Python gives you to perform a specific job. In this case, its job is to display whatever you stick inside those parentheses right onto the screen. It's going to be your best friend for seeing the results of your code. So how do you make it go? Simple. Inside VS Code, make a new file and name it hello.py. That .py at the end is super important. It tells the computer it's a Python file. Now just type in that one line of code we just talked about and save it. Then open up a new terminal right inside VS Code, type python hello.py, hit enter, and boom, watch the magic happen.
And just like that, you did it. Seriously, you gave the computer an instruction and it listened. You are officially a coder. Take a second and let that sink in. It's a huge first step.
Okay, awesome. You've seen a program in action. But what actually was that hello world thing we used? Let's take a quick peek at the fundamental ingredients of code. We call these data types.
So this table breaks down the 4 most common ones you'll use all the time. First, you've got integers, or int. These are just your basic whole numbers, 10, -500, no decimals. Then you have floats, which are the opposite. They're numbers that do have a decimal point, like 3.14. Next up are strings, or str. That's just a fancy word for any sequence of text in quotes, just like our hello world. And finally, you've got booleans, or bool, which are super simple. They can only be one of 2 things, true or false. And believe it or not, almost everything you'll ever build in programming is just a clever combination of these basic blocks.
So, you've written one line of code, you know a little bit about data types. But you might be thinking, okay, so what? What's the point? Where does this journey actually take you?
Oh, this journey can take you pretty much everywhere. Python is the engine behind a ton of websites. It's the absolute champion in the world of data science and AI. It's the #1 tool for automating all those boring, repetitive tasks on your computer. It's even used to make video games. The possibilities are, well, pretty much endless.
Okay, but that's all a bit abstract, right? Is this just for students and hobbyists, or are people using this for, mission-critical stuff? Let's take a look at who's really using Python out in the wild.
Well, it turns out Python is used by the best of the best. We're talking giants like Google, Netflix, and Instagram. They all rely on it for their core systems. And it's not just tech companies. Check this out. NASA uses Python all over the place for things like crunching data from space missions and automating complex scientific calculations. Yeah, that one line of code you just wrote, that's the very first step toward building systems on that kind of scale.
So, you did it. You took that crucial first step. You've installed the tools, you've written the code, and you've seen it work with your own eyes. You now have the foundation to explore literally anything, from data science to web development. So the only real question left is, what are you going to build next?